one of the aspects I love the most about this movie is that your characters represent two different types of dealing with trauma. And there are also two different ways society welcomes or marginalized its victims. And I would like to ask you if you think that this film is also has also a social value.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's something we talked to Michelle about a lot. She had so many great ideas that she was bringing to this about, like you said, the people who are marginalized, whether it be due to mental illness or due to poverty or, for so many different reasons. And I think this film really kind of looks at the kind of one person who has so much and is so successful and someone who has very little, even though they come from similar backgrounds, and sort of how different their lives are, and how that's kind of shaped them. And I think it's a really interesting kind of commentary on that. And I don't know that it's like a message film in any way, but I think it is like a conversation starter around that, and the way that these characters behave and interact, and how they're fueled by
Totally.
by that, and hurt by that in so many ways in their lives.
Yeah.
And Maika, you are the face of the 21st century final girl, in my opinion. But in this film, you play the apparent villain. I would like to ask you, how has it been to change the perspective?
I loved it so much. Everyone, I'm obsessed. I'm in my villain era now. I did. This is it for me. Villains only. No, I loved it. I mean, it's like such a different outlook on everything. I mean, I really had to like understand this character in the deepest of ways to understand why she was doing what she was doing and stand behind her. Um and yeah, it was like such a challenge, but just incredibly rewarding and interesting. And yeah, I loved it so much.
And Mary Elizabeth, your character seems to be the perfect as a mother, but also as a professional at work. Then we see cracks in that facade, and I would like to ask you: do you believe that it's important to portray motherhood not just something as sweet and tender, but also as something that can hurt a woman?
Absolutely. I think motherhood is such an incredibly complex thing. Like, there's sort of infinite emotions and thoughts and anxieties and fears and hopes and dreams kind of attached to it and tangled up in it. And it can easily, be something that causes you the most joy that you've ever felt. And it can also, sort of drop you into a lot of fear. And I think the horror genre can really take a really interesting look at that and work through some of those anxieties. And I think this film does such an amazing job of that, of sort of, um, looking at those cracks and looking at, what's underneath and what's driving it. And I think even though Caitlin's story is maybe one that's on the little bit more extreme side, but I do think most mothers can relate to that feeling of trying to seem to be perfect, and underneath it actually feel like they're completely failing. And I think that's an incredibly relatable thing, and something that's really interesting to see worked through in this kind of tone and this kind of genre.
In this movie, there are no clear distinction between good and evil, victim and aggressors. Was interesting for you as actress to play in such a gray area, and how much did it influence your decision to make this movie?
Oh, well, I mean, I read the script, and what I loved so much was that both these roles were like so layered. It wasn't just one-sided. I mean, it was just like so interesting. And yeah, I mean, I fell in love with Polly. I was like obsessed with her, and so intrigued by her, and trying to understand where she was coming from. But yeah, after, I mean, reading the script and meeting Michelle, it's just kind of like I have to do this.
Mm.
I felt the same. I was blown away by by exactly what you're saying, that these characters were both so tragic in a way, you know, that there was just a lot of like sadness in the ending. It's not like triumphant in any sense of how I'm not going to say how it ends, but you know, it's all kind of just it's the when you kind of find out what these women have been through and what makes them both so messy and flawed, you feel so much for them. And I thought just the fact that the script had that much empathy for these like really, you know, flawed women was really interesting, and something that was so exciting to bring to a horror film. Same reaction was like, I just have to do this. This is, you know, so exciting.